10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is June 12th, and I've got a whole weekend's worth of episode content right here for you, so let's get started. So the first thing is that the RPL token hit an all-time high on market cap on CoinGecko, and Jasper here had a tweet. He said, well, since Gary has decided to dump half of the alt market, and since most of the alt market was trash anyways, new all-time high market cap ranking for RPL on CoinGecko. In the bear market, value is the only thing that's not burned away. And then there's a screenshot of RPL token being at number 44 on CoinGecko, which is a new all-time high. Previously, it was kind of hovering around 49, 50. It was in the 50s for a while, and then just kind of shot up to 44, which is really, really cool to see. A little while before that, there was a joke because CoinMarketCap had the RPL token listed at number 41, and at the time RPL was 45. So I asked Mav to make this meme for me where friendship ended with CoinGecko. Now CoinMarketCap is my best friend, and then it says number 45 and big crosses through it, and then number 41 on the CoinMarketCap. So the RPL token has been doing really well up until yesterday pretty much, but it was holding up really well while the rest of the market was dumping, and it was climbing on the market cap list, not because it was pumping, but because everything else was dumping more. And if you have a look at it now, we're actually doing pretty well. Let's have a look. We're in number 47, which is very respectable, and we're going to come back and have a look at that again in a little while. So another thing that happened over the weekend as well was here we had the total market share of Ethereum staking for Rocket Pool hit 3%. So we are now officially over 3% market share for the Rocket Pool protocol for Ethereum staking. That is incredibly exciting. It's very bullish, and that growth has really been going on for the last few months here. Like you can see from the middle of April, it's kind of went up, it came down a little bit, and then it's been going steadily up ever since. Let's have a look at Dr. Worm's Dune Analytics dashboard to see what we're looking like on the LSD front. So this here we're like right above premium on the peg, which is looking good. Mini pools have shot up, rETH supply has shot up, unique minters has gone up nicely, node operators versus time has increased up to above 2,000 now. Here the Ether deposited to the Beacon chain is well above 500,000 now. Total ETH deposited for 750,000, which is fantastic. And then rETH mints per day, you can see, look on the left of the graph along here, it's quite sparse and with a few peaks every once in a while. But since the Atlas deposit pool increase happened in preparation for Atlas, since then the density of the spikes has not only increased in density but also in height as well, which is fantastic. rETH and STETH both pretty much right on peg, and then you can see that the volumes are going up. Everything is just looking really good over the last few months, and it definitely looks really good. Now what I want to have a look at is the market share, which I can't find, so I think that might be from a HillW board, but that's okay. But yeah, Rocket Pool doing really well. Here then some of the things that we've been looking out for, right, is how Rocket Pool is doing really well compared to other staking services. So for example, Rocket Pool is now having more and more days where it's minting more tokens per day than STETH is, which of course is good sign. People are burning rival tokens like Frax ETH, which is their stake token. So someone burned 13,000 frax ETH, which brought down 5% of their supply. So those kind of actions are really showing how strong Rocket Pool is, rETH is, RPL is, how the whole project is doing amazingly well right now. It's very exciting that all these positive things are happening. And on top of that, of course, we just hit 24,000 mini pools have been created. That's not including the ones that have been exited or that are in the queue. That's just raw mini pool creation, and that's really exciting too. That we're still hitting these landmarks. And then another thing that happened yesterday is that the RPL price took a bit of a hit, and we're going to talk about that next. But as the RPL price took a hit, then rETH has officially gone above RPL token now on CoinGecko. So if we have a look over here, the rETH token now has a total market cap of $825,702,844, and the Rocket Pool token has a total market cap of $801,497,585. And number 47, rETH is at number 45, and Algorand is at number 46. This growth for the the rETH token now, I think some big things will have to happen for the RPL token to overtake rETH again, because every time rETH gets minted, it's just up only pretty much right now, and that's absolutely amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if rETH becomes a top 20 token in the next little while. It would need to, well, actually maybe not top 20 token. Top 20 might be a bit of a push, because that's pretty much a 4x in market cap. Let's settle for like top 30 token as the way things stand now. That $2 billion market cap, just over double what it is now by the end of the year. I think that would be amazing. That would definitely be fantastic. The RPL token, of course, has the ability to pump to those numbers. Let's see how it goes. I think now's the time for rETH to really build a bit of a lead into this next period. So why has the RPL token gone down so much? Well, someone was hitting the sell button hard, and this happened overnight, where there was a bunch of sells. No one really knew what was going on. The price really dipped down, but there was not any sell bot notifications on trading. I think Vaka's bot wasn't working for some reason. So I said, where's the sell bot? And Papa P said too sad to post, and I said yep. And then I brought up Invis's wall command, and we could see that for the last few days we were kind of just hanging out in this higher liquidity period, and then we really dipped down into the lower liquidity period. So why did that happen? Let's have a look. Let's have a look over here actually. This person right here sold RPL. I think it ended up being around 36,000 or 37,000 RPL tokens that they sold. And what's funny is people were kind of digging around in that wallet, and they found that they sold $800,000 worth of RPL. And what was funny was that they did a 1 month trade where they bought into RPL about a month ago and then sold yesterday. They started with around 1,200 ETH, and they lost just over 200 ETH so they started with from 1,202 ETH to 995 ETH in 1 month, one trade. So they lost 20%, basically just under 20% of their holdings on this trade. So I said it would be funny if it wasn't sad. So that's kind of where I stand with that. But sadly the RPL liquidity is still low enough that a decent sized sell can still hit us quite hard. And that's one of the things that happened here, is that this person sold a nice chunk of RPL, and it kind of threw us down. I think if you have a look at the week price of RPL is down 13% in the week and down nearly 7% in the day, whereas the rETH is flat on the day and down 4% in the week. So it's really hit us slightly differently, from the way ETH has held up. And until that point, RPL was holding up really well as well. So it definitely is disappointing that we got hit down like that. But hey, that's okay. We've already started our journey back up. And one of the things that happened that was really cool on our journey back up is this person placed a swap order for 200,000 LDO tokens, which is the Lido governance token. They swapped it for 8,700 RPL tokens, which was beautiful. So that was really, really great to see. And then the buy started coming through on the bot as well. So right now we stand at, let me have a look. Right now we stand at $40.99, so $41 at a ratio of 0.2357. For the last little while, we've been having around 0.026. So, we've come down a little bit, but it's nothing that we can't recover from. In a way, the low liquidity period is good and bad for us. It's bad because the price can go down really quickly, and of course it's good because it can move up really quickly as well. And once we start getting into those walls, then it's a little bit harder to make those gains, but that's the way it goes. Okay, moving on, we've got some news came through that was really amazing here from Morpho Labs. They said rETH by Rocket Pool is now enabled as collateral on Morpho's Aave version 3 ETH optimizer. Users can provide rETH collateral and borrow ETH at the base rates on Ethereum when matched peer-to-peer. It says rETH is currently the most decentralized and third largest liquid staking token with 1.7 billion of liquidity. Enabling it as collateral enables strategies of opening leveraged positions using secondary markets or increasing staking rewards. Recently, the pool borrow APY for WETH, that's wrapped ETH, has been 3.8%, has been greater than rETH staking rewards, around 3.5%, making leverage staking strategies unprofitable. But as more WETH is supplied on the optimizer, users can borrow at the peer-to-peer APY, which is about 2.8%, and the strategy becomes profitable again. So this is a really good way of folding. And here, Morpho Labs is a bilateral growth plan for both ecosystems starts today with this listing. Morpho and Rocket Pool contributors are working towards RPL incentives, a new boosted pool, and more to be announced soon. So this is a really, really lovely integration with Morpho Labs. Let me see if I can go to their website and kind of poke around and see what's there. I'll do a takeoff into DeFi episode with Morpho Labs because it's really exciting. But if we have a look at their app, let's see, this is the first time I've ever had a look here. So it says Aave version 3 ETH optimizer. Let's have a look, see what's there. Launch that app. And disclaimer, Morphos, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I understand that. Continue. And then there is rETH. It says connect to your wallet to start a transaction. Supply pool. Yeah, I'll have to mess around with this and see what I can find and get back to you all on that. So here, just looking at this information, it says that collateral and borrow pool APY 3.83%. So that's the issue. And the peer-to-peer borrowing rate is 2.85%. At the moment, there's zero available for matching. So that's the problem right now, is that there isn't much available for matching, and why we can't fold. But if the peer-to-peer APY starts coming through, then we can start using folding, and that would be really exciting. So this is a pretty cool project that Morpho are doing, and they're aligning quite well with the Incentives Management Committee. So congrats to the IMC and Morpho for developing these products on the back of Aave stuff. Okay, so actually there we go. Okay, so here we had this post from Shifrin, last week, or just over last week, where there was an open application for the administrator position for the Grants Management Committee. So there was a bounty put in for someone looking for an admin role, someone to help the GMC kind of like smooth the gears and get everything done. And there was a post made in the forum. I talked about it. People posted it in trading, etc. The only person who applied to it was Shifrin, who was a current member of the GMC. Shifrin applied. Shifrin, feeling good, feeling great, said, I think you'd be a great candidate for this position. Of course, I agreed with that. I didn't say anything because I'm on the GMC. Shifrin then basically the way it worked out was Shifrin was the only person to apply. So Shifrin said the application window for this GMC administrator has now closed. The GMC is pleased to announce that Shifrin has been selected for the role. I, Shifrin, am thrilled and grateful for the opportunity. It's kind of funny that Shifrin posted this, but Shifrin is just amazing. I'm so happy that Shifrin is the one who's getting this position, because he's done such a wonderful job behind the scenes on the GMC since he joined. I couldn't be more happy that it's Shifrin who's gotten this job. I know that he's going to do brilliant in this position because he's already been doing such a great job, and I know for sure that he's going to carry on with that. So that is awesome. Is that I, Shifrin, am thrilled and grateful for this opportunity. Effective immediately, I've made the decision to relinquish my voting power. Per RPIP 10, the following will take effect until the seat is filled. Is if a vacancy occurs within 6 months of the previous election, the next highest vote recipient from the previous election shall be offered the seat, with the management committee going down list of vote receiving nominees until the position is filled. The offered seat should be accepted or rejected 1 week. If it is rejected, there is no response. The management committee shall continue down the list. It says, as previously discussed, I will be spearheading 3 important initiatives: modifying the retrospective award cap, implementing a rolling reward cycle, and expanding the GMC administrator's responsibilities. In addition, I'll be taking on liaison duties and documenting and building a robust process for the GMC administrator role further. Throughout this process, I greatly appreciate and value the feedback from our community. Together, we can make significant strides in improving the GMC and ensuring its continued success. So that was really wonderful that Shifrin got the job and now is not as a non-voting member of the GMC. So who was next on list? The next on list was Rplmaxi.eth. So Shifrin says, we are excited to announce that Rplmaxi.eth has joined the GMC. This development comes as Shifrin relinquishes his voting power to take on the role of GMC administrator. And then it says, in accordance with RPIP 10, what we just read out, and we extend a warm welcome to Rplmaxi and express our gratitude for accepting this position. So then I can just here leave a reply saying, welcome, we are delighted to have you. Okay, and then I can reply to that as well. Okay, so that was the GMC stuff. Okay, next, Invis has been working on a new bot, which you can see here. If you do command /get _upcoming _rewards and then put in the node operator address, so and then just letting patches know. So what patches did was use the upcoming rewards for 0x patches.eth, which is patches node address, I guess, and it says values based upon data from 25 minutes ago. This is interval 11, which ends in a month, and the collateral based rewards are 3.665 ETH, but smoothing pool rewards as well. So I guess patches is in the smoothing pool maybe. So anyway, that is really nice that there's this new bot that you can just use the command to find out where you stand with your reward so far this cycle. I ran the bot right here. So there's my node address. It says, I just ran it a little while ago, and it says that I'm collateral based rewards are 1.22 RPL so far, and my smoothing pool rewards are 0.003 ETH so far. So you can use this bot as well. You can run it for yourself or any other node operator, and you can use /get _upcoming _rewards and then put in the node address there to get that information. So that was really cool. Okay, last week we talked about Avado and how they are letting you do 8 ETH mini pools now, and also withdraw your RPL, your rocket pool nodes as well. Like they updated for Atlas and Shanghai basically. So here Dave Marley shared his experience of being a node operator, and Dave says user experience notes after running a rocket pool node on Avado for about a year. Apologies for the long post, but after Wax mentioned Avado on Rocket Fuel a couple of days ago, I thought I would share my experience using Avado as the hardware for my rocket pool node over the past year. So there's a TLDR. It says, I'm not sure I would have started staking with my own hardware without Avado. It's workable for a non-technical person like myself right out of the box, but don't expect Apple quality user experience. You will have to troubleshoot from time to time, and that would likely involve some frustrating trial and error. If you're in the Rocket Pool Discord reading this now, you're probably more committed to solo staking than you give yourself credit for, and after a year or two may feel comfortable relying on basic Nook or Joe's Proteus with the Rocket Pool Smart Node stack. Therefore, if you do buy an Avado, I would suggest not buying a device bigger than the 4TB option. That's actually quite big, 2TB standard. That should give you at least a couple of years of use, and after that you can decide whether you want to try a non-Avado hardware. So then Dave goes into a lot more detail about what his technical skills were, how the device is and the user experience is, what the software support is like, and how troubleshooting has worked with support, and what plan Dave has as well. So he says, even with the little bit I've learned, I wouldn't feel comfortable running a pure solo validator without Avado. I do, however, think that I could run the Rocket Pool Smart Node stack on the NUC at this point. I still have at least a year or two worth of space left on my device, so I'll evaluate the hardware that's available at when the time comes. I do salivate every time I see pics of the Proteus posted. If you're thinking about buying an Avado and have questions, please do feel free to reach out. So I'm not sure if Dave knows about pruning your execution layer client. There's no reason why you should need 4TB of space unless you're running like an archive node, but for the vast majority of users, you can get more than enough done with 2TB, provided if you run geth, then you have to prune every once in a while, and if you run nethermind or bisu, then pruning doesn't work the same way as well. So that was really nice share that Dave did. So thank you, Dave, for sharing that information. Okay, moving on, here we had Patrick, who works with Maker DAO governance, pop into trading and answer some questions for a while. So people in the community were kind of talking about how Maker's DAI is now not backed by pure Ethereum, it's backed by USDC, it's backed by real world assets, it's backed by a bunch of other things other than just Ethereum, and that's like an issue basically, and what we can do about that. But Patrick, I guess, was kind of lurking. He said, generally lurk here, but as we're on the topic, I'm happy to answer any Maker questions anyone has, to the best of my knowledge anyway. So a bunch of people started asking Patrick questions, and there were some really good questions, like the DSR increase will have, and other people. Jasper asked that, and he says not financial advice, and then he says non-fungible Yokum had a question here, like some of the IMC are somewhat nervous about the expansion of leveraged rETH market wide, not just Maker, relative to the growth of our liquidity depth near peg, and like, should that be an issue? And since Maker tends to err on the conservative side, so it might not be too bad. And then Noshua was talking about how the rETH leverage looks in different protocols right now. So there's 26,000 rETH in Maker, 30,000 rETH in Aave, 4,500 rETH in Gravita, 1,000 rETH in Silo, and that's 61,000 rETH leveraged in total, with potential to go above 130,000 rETH with the Maker changing and the room in Aave. On the other hand, with our current liquidity at 10% slippage territory with 33,000 rETH. So there was a whole lot of good discussion that was coming up here, and good analysis that was done. But it was really cool that people from other protocols are popping into trading and kind of talking out things. I think that's a really good sign. And then over here as well, Patrick finishes up by saying, for what it's worth, I would advise anyone using Maker or any other leverage to have some sort of liquidation protection enabled. Maker particularly does not want to run the risk of liquidation leading to bad debt, so it has quite punishing penalties on liquidated vaults. So definitely keep that in mind. Of course, liquidation risk is real with any kind of leverage protocol, so keep that in mind and try to avoid it if you can. So talking about leveraged rETH, here we got an announcement that Jasper shared in trading about a new way to leverage your rETH. So there's an announcement for a new stablecoin called Hi, which is a fork of Rai, which is an Ethereum only stablecoin that is quite popular in the community. And Rai, of course, was kind of what's the word? Let me think. Immutable. That's what I was thinking. So Rai is working towards, or is fully immutable. So there's no way that you can change that to add other collateral types. Whereas with Hi here, it's a fork of immutable. So it'll be a new stablecoin that will include different collateral types such as ETH, RAI, LSTs such as STETH, rETH, and assets and optimism like the optimistic token and Uni with room for expansion. And then they have a more expected long-term governance than RAI to add remove collateral, PI controller to set redemption rate, same as RAI. Initial price will be $1 instead of arbitrary value like RAI's $3.14. And given everything we have learned from RAI, it seems likely to me that equilibrium redemption rates for high will probably turn positive, so the price of high will get higher over time. So this is one of those situations, kind of like Gravita were a friendly fork of Liquidity. You're now seeing high as a friendly fork of RAI. So there's a full announcement here, and they are hopefully going to start with rETH there, which is lovely to see. There's a whole tweet thread that you can go and look at as well. Okay, next, moving on to this news from the RPL client diversity push that Schifrin is doing. So he released this tweet a couple of days ago saying in the month of June, so far 20 Rocket Pool node operators have migrated to bolster the diversity of the Ethereum execution clients and the community impact. Node operators who have migrated are Rocknet, Aliask, Dondo, Octogene, Steely, Shokus, Patent, Alliator, Rocketpunks, War, Nixo, Jort, Lame.eth, BombBomb, Hackworth.eth, Dr. Doofus, and Rex. So Monkeys here said migrated to what? I chose random, and Geth and Tiku were picked for me. So I responded by saying moved away from Geth to Bisu and Nethermind. Rocket Pool's node operators are overusing Geth, less than the staking population as a whole, but still more than ideal. And then Monkeys said, when is this going until? And I was planning to migrate to a new machine in July. So I said it's running until the end of June, and at that point we will have the raffle for people who were involved in this whole thing. The raffle is shaping up to be really nice. So Schifrin here said that 10 validations.eth just donated a whopping 10 RPL to the rplclimatediversity.com raffle. This brings the cumulative value of tokens and NFTs to an impressive sum of over 3,000 USD. So there's 46.123 RPL in there, 0.4 ETH, 0.09 rETH, a Legend Nano X NFT, which you can redeem for a physical device, 2 Rocketeer Gen 1 NFTs, and 2 Rocketeer Progeny NFTs as well. So the prize list is looking really, really great right now. I'm kind of jealous because Schifrin's raised more than I have, so I need to hire Schifrin to raise some of my 200th episode raffle. The 200th episode raffle should be happening next Friday, I think, because I missed last Friday's episode, so we're a day later now. But I got to do some work on that this week and really step it up another level. But I'm so happy for Schifrin. This campaign is going beautifully, and every day there's people moving over because of this. So wonderful stuff. Okay, so I'm going to finish today's episode. Well, not quite finish. Yeah, finish today's episode with some news that was kind of dividing / upsetting the community. So, as you all know, the markets have not been doing so well these last few days, and that's because of Coinbase and Binance being sued by the SEC in the US. Prices of a lot of tokens that they deemed securities have tanked really badly, and the RPL price hasn't been doing great. But last night it took a hit, but before that it was kind of not great but not terrible, not as bad as some of the others. But people were just not happy about the markets. There's also bearish sentiment amount. Even I was sharing some bearish sentiment, if you can believe that. I think someone looking for owls here, noticed that Marcy had left the smoothing pool. So he said, did Marcy leave Rocket Pool? I don't see him in the smoothing pool list. So Ludi replied by saying left smoothing pool and exited 75 mini pools. I think he still does have a lot though. And looking for owl says looks like Marcy exited and withdrew all of them on Rocket Scan. So that kind of started a discussion that kind of went on all weekend, where people were talking about how Marcy left and what it means and what's going on. There'll be a big RPL withdrawal and large sell or wall. And Lee here said, I thought he said on Twitter for us to take it out of the beacon chain, which I assumed meant he was exiting, but I was under the impression he was going to go with other opportunities with his rETH and RPL, but that's not confirmed. So basically there was a whole lot of bearish sentiment around about Marcy withdrawing his mini pools and closing out his node from Rocket Pool, and people were so Ludy here says, all the ETH that was withdrawn from the original 75% to Kraken, he has not distributed or withdrawn the remaining exited validators. 87,000 RPL is still staked, can only be removed when he withdraws the remaining 100 mini pools, so it should be any day now. And Looking for Owl says, is it real? Jasper says, looks sus. Looking for Owl says, it does. Lee he says, I thought I saw Wack and him talking on Twitter, but now I'm second guessing what I read. I thought he might be doing emote stuff. And then Jasper said something about how Marcy was really bullish when we did our Atlas Bullcast a couple of months ago, and like how it's all good. It's all good basically. But then Marcy started distributing his mini pools and like withdrawing the ETH from them all. And it started showing up in events that he was getting his ETH out from there and getting his money back basically. And there was a whole lot of these, like as I'm scrolling down, like 100 of them. And then people in trading were kind of like freaking out again because he then of course withdrew his RPL, like nearly 90,000 RPL tokens that he had on this node. Of course he has way more RPL than that in total, but that's what he had on this node at this moment. So people just like wondering what was going on. There was a whole lot of panic, and there was a lot of negative sentiment as well about like how he's paper handed and how he is fair weather and like is all this kind of like, people were just like, there was a lot of negative sentiment, right? Like people were just feeling like the bear, I guess, and it was just kind of, this was just feeding that, and they were kind of egging each other on, and like nothing, I'm not saying anyone was whatever. Anyway, Marcy then released this tweet saying like that people were kind of like using as speculation against him, right? He says the current state of the staking ecosystem is basically a trade-off of 1, the right team, 2, the right product, and 3, the right network effects, Lindy, integrations, liquidity, etc. And he says you can pick any 2 of those. And then Rudolph here said, where do you see Rocket Pool in this? And Marcy says, no comment on that, but I've never owned more RPL than right now. I even exited some validators so I could be nimble and buy up dips. So I shared that tweet in trading, like saying to people like, you guys have been saying all this stuff about Marcy, like this is what he's saying like on Twitter, and like this is his position. So people were just like kind of relieved, I think, and they were just like, oh, okay. And then Genus here, Jasper shared it in the ping server as well. Genus here says, love to hear some feedback from Marcy in the end trading, were the insufficiently bullish ones. And I said, I think he's taking steps back from the community. We should let him do his thing and take him at his word. You know what I mean? And Genix was like, yeah, for sure, live and let live. But then Marcy came into the ping server as well, and he kind of like explained himself. He says, I'm otherwise not too active in Discord, but I'll take this one. My take on RPL is that it's temporarily beat up for a few reasons. 1, Atlas delivered, but it was a bit overhyped going into it. Partially my bad, he says, and I say partially my bad too. Sorry about that. Then the next thing he says is the activation queue is screwing us. No other way to say it. It's temporary, but it sucks. The big queue will always favor the incumbents. And it says broader market sell-off. Ironically, RPL is holding up super well and actually growing in ranks, but number go down, so everyone is still bearish. And then of course, that was before we kind of got smacked down the number as well. But hey, we're still growing in the ranks, so that's definitely worth something. And then he goes on to say, on the positive side, I can't imagine a better regulatory backdrop for Rocket Pool. RPL is a call option on regulatory tightening, which feels like a pretty good bet at the moment. Lido getting a Wells notice is pretty much a matter of when and not if you ask me. NodeSet launching this year, those guys are doing amazing things. It's a missing piece in the Rocket Pool product, in my opinion. And Layer Zero, you guys should keep pressing on this. The treasury angle is great, for example. The treasury angle, that's what he means by this, is, reaching out out to other DAOs and getting them to invest their treasuries into Rocket Pool. He's saying it's a really great angle. And he says, on me exiting, I'm more of a trader than a staker. I always have been. It's just that staking early was the best way to express my position. At the moment, it simply isn't worth the current rewards for me. I've got some liquidity position ranges up because I genuinely think that it's a better service to the protocol than a few extra mini pools. If I wanted to sell, it would be over the counter, so chill out, fam. In general, I got the impression that I've been playing a bit too much of a main character, so planning on keeping low visibility. Reach out if you want to chat. I've got plenty of friends on here, which of course, like I've always said to people, like, you feel free to reach out to him. He hasn't deleted his Discord account or anything like that. So Jasper said as well, can't emphasize number 2 enough. The Q, now our APR being lower because of that is killing our integrations. Honestly, our growth, even our absolute dog shit APR is amazing. Given our dog shit APR is amazing. So there's a whole lot of stuff that was kind of unpacked here, and there was a whole lot of self-driven FUD coming from inside the community that Marcy kind of dispelled. And hey, you can believe him, you don't have to believe him, that's all up to you. But from what I know about the guy, he's very invested in the protocol still, and wants to do stuff that will make Rocket Pool and the RPL token succeed. So yeah, good on him for that, and good on you all for watching this nice long episode on a Monday evening. I hope you all had a lovely weekend, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.